This is March 24th, 2011, and I'm hiking. But I've been hiking through wide open nothing for a long time. And all around me, in the distance, you can see mountains and ridges and hills and stuff. But every once in a while, about every half hour or so, they disappear. And suddenly you start getting pelted with little bits of snow. And of course, the wind is still pretty brutal, and it's very cold. This is a ghost town on the way to nowhere. But the good news is I'm finally getting to a tree line over here. And so here, I'm hiking down this road, and now I will finally get to some shelter. I am excited about that. So I am headed for the tree line, which is good news. For the first time since basically the other side of Taos, I come to some trees. And so this means good news for a windbreak, so I don't have to freeze to death in the blistering winds. It's also good news for shelter at night. I'll have somewhere where I can camp. And especially important, it's really good news for my bladder too. Well, it's March 25th, 2011, and I've just spent the last couple hours bushwhacking through the mountains. And so, like just a few minutes ago, I was way up beyond there, at that peak that you probably can't see through the camera. But I got to mile marker 214 last night and found a little valley where I could hop the fence and find some safe shelter. So I stayed there the night, but then today when I got up, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna keep hiking up this hill and see where it goes. And it's been quite an adventure. This place is awesome. This road, this stretch of road right here is between Tres Piedras and Chama. And from what I understand, they close it down in the winter almost all the time when it gets real bad because it's not traveled much. And I don't know if you've ever been in the deep woods and there's been no sound. As you can tell, there's no birds, there's no wildlife, there's no tree frogs, crickets, nothing. You just have the gentle blow of the wind. But all of last night, there was really no wind at all. It was just complete eerie silence. That's weird stuff. I tell you what, you give me some pine trees and some aspens in the mountains, and I think I'll call that home. Well, I tell you one thing, this Highway 64 is one desolate road, and it's cold and windy. What else is new? But I get passed by a vehicle about once every 10 minutes or so. So I got a question for you. How far can a dog run into the woods? Halfway. Yeah, because the other half he's running out of the woods. And so that's me right now. I'm halfway in. I got about 30 miles of desolate nothing on either side of me until you get to civilization. And here's some good news. Check this out. My buckle has officially broken. That's gonna be fun. And of course I have backup buckles and straps and bungee and pins for the pack and duct tape, but I don't have a backup buckle for my hip strap. Yeah, looks like somebody better buy a clue. Down the hill over there, you can't really see it, but Highway 64 is going that way and off into the distance. But right here, there's a little, I guess, national park day use area, picnic area that leads over to Hopewell Lake. That's what the ranger station told me, that the Continental Divide is somewhere around here. So I guess I'll find it tomorrow morning. Because right now it's 6:30 and I'm losing daylight. Anyway, from over there I saw the sign for Lake Hopewell, and then I was able to see this. See that nice little structure? And of course it's open. And I thought, well, if the weather's real bad, I could get underneath that little awning there. So I hiked all the way to it, and turns out it's a toilet, a kaibo, a latrine, an outhouse. So it's got a men's side and a women's side, so there's really not any room to stay in there, plus it smells pretty bad. But I did see this structure. Huh? Look at this structure behind me. And so I managed to hike all the way over to this structure, and this is cool. Look at how deep it is. This snow, this is a picnic table right there. And you can see my footprints are right behind the picnic table. There's the fire pit. Here's my footprints going right by the picnic table. And then there's another picnic table that's almost completely buried. You can't see it. Somehow or another, with a 45-pound pack on my back, with no snowshoes, the snow was packed enough to where I stayed on top and didn't sink in too far. I don't recommend that, especially when you're out camping by yourself in the middle of the woods. But somehow it worked for me tonight, so I just need it to work for me tomorrow when I leave out the same way. But for tonight, I get this awesome lean-to shelter. This reminds me of being back on the Appalachian Trail. All the nice little lean-to shelters. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up my tent in here, so that way I'll have protection from wind on all directions. It's going to be awesome. And then right here it says day use area closed 9 to 7 a.m. Well, I got news for you. After 9 o'clock, I'm still going to be here. And I'm probably going to leave sometime after 7 a.m. So for tonight, this is a lifesaver. God is good. All right, well, about 2 miles ago, I sat down on the side of the road to have my last lunch of all the last food stuff that I have, which was my last granola bar and whatever leftover beef jerky that I had. And of course, I sat down in tree sap. I just get over here, I come over the horizon, and there's a car from Louisiana pulls over. Turns out to be a couple from, well, obviously from Louisiana. And their names are Cameron and Molly. And so they pulled over and they gave me food. They refilled my water. They made me a couple of PB&J sandwiches. Gave me some cheese and crackers, an apple, and some oranges. And probably something else I'm forgetting. But that was nice. That was very, very welcome. So any opportunity to have food or water or something along the side of the road, that is awesome. The last time, if I remember correctly, the last time somebody made a sandwich for me or gave me fixins for a sandwich was back in New England. I'm thinking somewhere around Vermont. I remember a carload of hippies, there was like 4 of them shoved into this little car, and they were heading into the mountains to go hiking and stuff, and they were like, well, here's some sandwich stuff. So that was cool. And then as I'm hiking through here, I keep looking, I keep hoping that they're gonna have a sign that says Continental Divide, but something tells me that it's not gonna happen. And so for the past 2 miles, I've been going downhill pretty steady, so something tells me I've already crossed the Continental Divide, because before that, it was a lot of uphill for a couple of days. So even though there's no official sign, I'm gonna go ahead and call it right now the Continental Divide. So that means I can officially say it. It's all downhill from here. Oh. But seriously, 23 years ago today, I became an Eagle Scout. March 26, 2011. Now, if you'd have walked up to me then and said, hey, you know, 23 years from now, you're going to be standing at the Continental Divide, and you will have walked all the way there from Maine, and you are going to continue your walk all the way to California. And the reason why you're walking across the country is for the gospel of Christ. Yeah, I'd have definitely thought you were crazy. But here I am. And the sad thing is, I don't even think I get a merit badge for this.